Hi again. So today I am here in my corporate drag to talk about time blocking, which is a time management strategy that I have been circling like a shark for many years. And I'm hoping that talking about it here and building a little bit of accountability will help me deliver on. I'm something of a geek about organization strategies and like love to, procrastinate from doing actual work by researching organization strategies. But this is one that I'm really optimistic about. I have many reasons to believe that this is a good strategy for creative people. I'm gonna do a demo of it here and then track it over the next couple of weeks and talk about what my results have been. As a creative person myself, I feel a lot of resistance to overly structured schedules. I feel like, oh no, like I can't be held in by a schedule. I can't be boxed in. I'm so unique and special. But as I reflect more on the times of my life that I've been the most productive, it has been in school or in a rehearsal process where there are really clear structures and boundaries and deadlines. So my hope is that utilizing time blocking will allow me to bring that into my personal life. Again, I still am like, even if I do the organization, will the accountability come through? We'll see. That's what maybe turning it into a video will help with. But I want to talk a little bit more about what exactly time blocking is and why I like it as a strategy. So, time blocking is a time management strategy where you schedule out time for different activities. Instead of using a to-do list, scheduling time to work on different tasks on your calendar. And some people get really granular about this and will say like, respond to emails, like 15-minute blocks, but that seems a little bit intense to me. So I'm gonna try and stick to like 30-minute or longer blocks to work on different projects. One reason that time blocking is such a strong strategy is that it minimizes context switching and removes your need to choose what to do. I definitely find that I can get really stuck when it comes to like, oh, I should do this, but I should also do this, but I should also do this. So deciding it ahead of time by putting it on your calendar is a great way to minimize that choice fatigue, in addition to the difficulty that comes from going from one kind of task to another one. I'm also thinking about all of the times that I have had a task that I dreaded and been so stressed and anxious about. I put it off for weeks and weeks, and then when I finally get around to doing it, it takes like 5-10 minutes. So again, I am hoping that time blocking will account for that. Another reason that I think this is a good strategy for creative people especially is because our schedules are so loosey-goosey. They change so much and there is a lot that is not in our control. So I think that it is very smart and useful to reflect on the time that we do have control over and make the most of it. Another organization theory is the idea of the Eisenhower matrix, named after Dwight D. Eisenhower. I'll put up a graphic, but basically it divides tasks into important, not important, urgent, and not urgent. And you can see different tasks fall into different combinations. And I find that, especially as an actor, things that are coming from outside tend to be urgent because they're on somebody else's timeline. There's a deadline and you have to turn in the audition by a certain day. Whereas a lot of longer term projects that I am the driver of are absolutely important. Because they're not urgent, it's hard to find the time to work on them because the urgent stuff, even if it's not as personally important, the urgency means everything else kind of falls by the wayside. I also find that I get kind of anxious about urgent things, and it's like, even though I maybe could do something productive in between, what I often end up doing is like feeling chaotic and watching YouTube videos for hours and hours and not doing anything productive until it's time to work on the urgent thing. So again, I'm hoping that this time blocking strategy will get me out of that flow and into some more productive vibes. Also trying to get out of multitasking because I have noticed over the past few weeks that multitasking has not been very good for my little brain. Again, it's one of those things you're like, oh, I'm creative. Oh, I'm so flexible and special and unique, and my brain doesn't work like anybody else's, and that's why I'm amazing at multitasking. But it's like, am I amazing at multitasking or am I giving myself a headache? Blocking off this time will hopefully get me out of some distractions and generally keep things going. I do also have some like to-do list apps that I may get into at some point, but for now, I want to focus on just making sure that I'm actually scheduling time and using that time wisely in my calendar. Okay, so welcome to my calendar. I already have a calendar app, but I'm starting with a clean little cal today so that I can include the things that I'm working on. So I guess what I'll start with is my day job because she is important and she is what gives me a roof over my head and food to eat. And that's great. So I go into office for my day job on Thursdays. So I'll just put a job in here. That's like a 10 to 6 kind of moment. I work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays. The reason I'm blocking off all of Thursdays because that's my in-office day at work. And if I'm working from home, that time is like slightly more flexible. And then let's see, I know this week I have some other stuff going on. Oh, well, of course, this week is Bridgerton, so I'm watching Bridgerton with pals. So extremely important. 3 invitees, you see that? Yeah, we're watching Bridgerton this week, so that is going to be on Thursday evening until who knows how late. We will be watching the entirety of season 3 part 2 on Thursday. Thank you much. Suddenly I'm very busy, so I'm going to do a show. I'm seeing Water for Elephants Wednesday, so that'll take up my entire evening. Oh, on Tuesday I have book club. As you can see, the other invites popping up. That's so funny. So I have book club on Tuesday. And then today is Monday and I'm doing this. I imagine if you will, me recording this yesterday, but I didn't do that. Right now my upload schedule is Mondays, but I might want to change it to Tuesdays just so that I have like all day Monday to work on it. I do also have like an early morning Wednesday meeting. Oh, here I have a production meeting. Yes, exactly. She knows. I have a Divine Adventure production meeting weekly from 6 to 7. So if I were to pull up my full calendar, you would see that that's a weekly thing. So I will be like dashing Zoom meeting to book club on Tuesday. And then on Saturday, I have a stand-up class. So I'll put that up too. So stand-up class on Saturday from noon to 3. And then in the evening, I've got my stand-up class show. Yay! Which will be probably an hour or so. And then fun things will surely happen afterwards. Oh, there's also a potential like pre-show dinner. And then I'll also include like here, I have an audition deadline at 6 p.m. So I usually put audition deadlines on there. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but audition deadline. And I have another one on Friday at 6 for this week. We call it audition deadline 2. Yeah, so I think these are all the solid commitments that I have this week. So now what I want to include are the soft commitments that I want to make. So Sunday's already over, but imagine, if you will, I think Sunday at like 6 p.m. would be a good time for time blocking to regularly take place. I'm going to try really hard to stick to that flow. So 6 p.m. on a Sunday, and then let's see. So these are all time block, let's say weekly time block review. So yeah, many of these things, like the prod meeting will be a repeating thing. My stand-up class has been on my calendar as a repeating commitment, but now I want to include some other thing. My plan is to kind of do this every day, unless I have some other thing going on. It's like project time is what I've been calling it. So project time, because ideally I am working on this, or at least reserving time to work on it daily. Just for funsies, I've picked another random color to represent this because for now these blue things are like hard scheduled stuff that other people are counting on me for, and then the yellow is like daily time that I would like to be working on stuff that can move as needed. So okay, I've got my project time there, and then I also want to include like education, else education work. As you can see, this is all already on my calendar. Like if I put in a half hour of that daily, roughly daily, that will be very cool. And then I also want to include some life admin because I get so many emails, I get so many texts, I get so many like dating app, whatever. So I need to put it on my calendar to make sure that it actually happens and that I don't like run away. So for example, I have book club on Tuesday, so I'm probably gonna move that later. Only this event. Similarly, I'll probably be commuting at some point in here, but I'll leave this for now. Life admin will go after Bridgerton because Bridgerton is the most important thing in my life. And then actually on Friday, I might move some of this earlier so that I can theoretically have a fun and flirty Friday night. Is that what's gonna happen? Let's pretend that that's what's gonna happen. So yeah, I'll scooch this earlier. Only this event. Yeah, and hopefully audition number 2 will be nicely squared away by that time. So you can see how this is starting to shape up. And just for the sake of seeing it, I'll say day job here as well, but this is just work from home day job. So it's not as aggressive going into office. And like based on this audition, like I have this audition due Wednesday. I'm planning to work on that tonight. So for the sake of this, I'll put audition work, film audition tonight because that's when it should happen. I think looking at this calendar, there's not a lot of time before deadline on Wednesday. So tonight is a good night to work on that, to film audition. Oh, and then I guess, yeah, earlier Friday, I will probably work on film audition. If I had to guess what I will do, I will film audition Friday afternoon. I think today I'm also gonna add a spooky late night. I'll send the stand-up set to my teacher for feedback. These two, because the overlapping is a little bit scary. And like, we'll see, these are so late, maybe I won't end up doing these after all. The audition is due. Oh yeah, that's just the audition due date, so that's fine. We'll see if Ellis Education actually happens on Thursday, but for now we'll leave it. That's just a deadline. Okay, yeah. And then I do think maybe these won't be weekend. Actually, I'll delete just to clean it up. Oh my gosh, something else that I should put on here too is like YouTube time, because actually YouTube also wants a little bit of energy, doesn't it? Yes, it does. As you can see what time it is now. We'll see when I end up uploading this. But I do think that YouTube probably want at least a couple check-ins, because it definitely takes a huge amount of time to get these projects out the door. So yeah, I'll put this on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, let's say. And then I imagine I'll probably end up filming my next video next Sunday or Monday. Sunday is a better day for sure. Sometimes it's even Friday, you never know. But I'll film YouTube. Should happen if I am cool and able to stick to it. So basically I will follow this as best as I can. Like if there's really nothing that can be done for a certain project, then that's life. Otherwise, if there's something that I probably could be doing, then the rule I'm gonna have is not allowed to do anything else in this time. And these are half-hour chunks, but what I'll probably end up doing is making them like Pomodoro chunks. So like 25 minutes and then a 5-minute little break, so that going from project to project feels a little less aggro. And the other rule that I have found really useful that I switch between being consistent about and not is if I get an email or something or some text, if it's something I can respond to, there's something I can do in 2 minutes or less, then I should just do it right away. But for any of those things that require a little bit more brain power, that's what these blocks of time are for. And then, yeah, the other thing that I should be doing is moving things around based on new stuff that appears. If I get new auditions or something, I will have to reschedule, especially with these nighttime activities that I don't want to miss out on. I will need to find other wonderful times to work on stuff. But that's part of like having the structure is good because it'll force me to really reflect on how to make time for everything. Things have gotten really busy lately. And of course, we're pushing towards shooting my show. So I really need to be on top of my stuff in order to get through. So I'm a little bit tired just looking at this, but I'm gonna power through and drink more coffee and become stronger. So yes, that's me. That's my little time blocking adventure. Please let me know if this was useful to you. Give it a try if you haven't already. And I look forward to checking in with you in the next couple of weeks to see if time blocking has made me the best and most productive person I've ever been. Yeah, what else is happening? You see Bridgerton on my calendar. That is what my video for next week is going to be about. So hopefully I can organize my thoughts and be ready to yap about that quickly. But yes, I like to be organized. I want to be organized. And yeah, hopefully cool, good, productive stuff on the other side of this. Let me know if you are a time blocker, if you have any questions about this technique, if you have any refinements for this technique, any other apps or things that you use to stay organized. I've looked at a couple and I kind of do want to do some reviewing of them for creative people. But yeah, I look forward to chatting with you again next week about Bridgerton, obviously, and wish you the best of luck. Hope that you are just as creative and productive as you want to be. Oh boy, I am tired. Okay, talk to you later. Bye.